Well, hello gearheads. Now today we'll be testing out a sports car. Now when I say sports car, I mean a car that has two doors. It is rear-wheel drive and it goes from 0 to 60 in about 4.6 seconds. But there's a slight twist. You see, this sports car that we're testing out today costs 3 million ringgit. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rolls Royce Wraith. Now, in the last season, if you remember, we've actually had some time with this car and we called it a driving experience because it was really about the experience of driving a Rolls Royce and being in a Rolls Royce and being associated with this leather that is more often than not described as buttery in every single publication in the world. So right now we want to focus on the performance, handling and ride aspects of the Rolls Royce Wraith. But before that, how about we take 1 minute to take a closer look at what this car has to offer in general. Start the clock now. This car is 5,269 millimeters long and 1,947 millimeters wide with 1.5 meters of height. This is a behemoth of a car. It is massive in every sense of the word, but nonetheless, it feels great and compact when you are inside it. Top 5 features of this car that you can say are OTT. Number 1, this headlining. You could actually spec it with the Starlight spec, which gives you 1,340 individually placed fiber optic tubes of light, making up any star constellation that you can imagine. That, of course, is a cost option. Number 2, you can actually have this car with this very, very deep pile wool lamb carpets. Your fingers completely disappear when you have your fingers on it. Number 3, with 5 top color options and 29 bottom color options, this car is one of the cars that actually looks good with a two-tone paint. But if any of those paints do not tickle your fancy, you can actually go for the bespoke option and having this car in any color combination in the world. Some say up to about 44,000 color combinations. That is amazing. 4, the spirit of ecstasy up front. Yeah, we all know the old lady that's flying at the top of the boot of the Rolls Royce, but did you know that you can spec it in either standard, stainless steel or silver or gold or even illuminated crystal? How about being OTT? And 5th, I can tell you and you can rest assured that this is the only car make in the world that will not leave you hanging in the rain because it comes with its own hidden umbrella in the panel with beautiful Rolls Royce monogram on there. And that is your 1 minute guide to Rolls Royce luxury. So how does this car perform? How does it ride? How is the handling? It is a behemoth of a vehicle with a 6.2 litre engine up front, but we really want to know how this is going to perform. I don't even need to touch the doors. Let's go. Right then, gentlemen, away we go. Now let's break this down into 2. First, how this car would behave as a Grand Tourer, which is how comfortable this car would be. And secondly, how this car would behave if we were to drive it like a proper sports car. Now, in Grand Tourer mode, this car is just, if 5 stars was the maximum, I'd give it 10 stars. Seriously. The comfort in this car is unparalleled, unlike any other car out there. The smoothness of operation, the ease of operation is just incredibly stellar. Seriously, outstanding performance this car when it comes to driving this car long distances. If you need to go fast long distances, you'll be able to do it with a lot of comfort and a lot of ease. That is the main word that you'd like to keep in mind when you're thinking about having this car as a Grand Tourer. When you take corners, it doesn't quite wallow and waft like the Rolls Royces of yore, but it still gives you this sense of shift, a tectonic shift that you can feel because of the size and the mass of this car. Of course, don't forget, this is a 2.5 tons worth of metal that you're driving around here. The size of the wheel itself is large, very large, undeniably so, but you can operate it with, look, just the tips of your fingers, and you can definitely go very easily with this car. It is just very easy to maneuver. You do not have to worry about gearing and all this and all that. It is just ultra comfortable thanks to the seats, thanks to the everything, really. As a Grand Tourer, this car is just absolutely subliminal. Now, as a sports car, you must be thinking, why on earth would I want to consider a Rolls Royce to be put for the test as a sports car? Well, very simple, because forget the weight and the mass and the size of the car for a second. You'll probably be thinking, yeah, it could be so, especially when you consider the 6 3/4 engine that you have up front, which is a V12 twin turbo unit, thanks to BMW, pushes out 624 brake horsepower and, wait for it, 800 Newton meters of torque. You'll be thinking, yes, this car can actually be an athlete in disguise, but can it? Well, let me just say this. The gearing is long because it is meant to give you ultimate comfort, but if you were to hit the low button, things change. The throttle response becomes sharper, the gearing becomes slightly shorter, and it shifts much quicker, and you somehow feel that the car becomes taut. The air suspension actually stiffens up, and it gives you a little sense of more comfort. It gives you more confidence when you're attacking corners and all that. And if my senses are telling me the right things, I also feel that the steering is slightly weightier with the gearing put too low. Amazing, amazing. It is fast, and you can definitely feel the power surging, but it doesn't slap you in the face with it. It actually it's a very gentlemanly way of making the car go very fast. Does it carve a grin on your face when you want to? Yes, it will. The ride, it's a Rolls Royce, unquestionably good. And finally, the performance, well, on paper, subliminal, but nonetheless, you know, when in the metal, in the flesh, it still does beautifully, and is really good. This car is just going to continue surprising you. It surprises you on so many different levels. It will surprise you at the fact that this car can have this level of performance, but at the same time, despite its size and its weight and all that. Sports car, I don't know, but as a Grand Tourer, this is definitely one of the sportiest Grand Tourers that I know. And given its poshness and its size and its weight and its real estate and its everything, this car really is one of the most ultimate cars that you can have. Ultimate what? Ultimately blank space. Add your own adjective, because really it can fit all sorts of adjectives, from the positives to the negatives, from the nice to the vulgar, but this is vulgarly good.